Good morning, my friends. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What is going on this fine Wednesday morning? Drop me a note in the comments. Let me know you are here. Welcome to Men Up with Mike. Episode, I forgot to document what episode we are on, but I think we are on episode 180. 180. Can you believe it? These are, those things that happen when things like pandemics come through and you decide to try something a little different. And here we are, 6 months later now, and still going strong. Actually, it'd be more than 6 months because I'm doing them 5 days a week, not 7 days a week. So it has been longer than that. How's it going? It is December 23rd. We are 2 days away from Christmas. Christmas, obviously, this year is going to look a little bit different. I'm super curious. What is Christmas going to look like for you this year? Are things different? Good morning, Anne. How are you, my friend? What is happening in Toronto today? In the big smoke, as they say. You guys are completely locked down as of Boxing Day, I guess. Hey, more shutdowns coming. Yeah, I've got a client that owns a restaurant in Ontario, and definitely this is going to cause some challenges for him. You guys are shut down for 28 days after Christmas Day. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a bit of a challenge. So today I want to talk a little bit about New Year's intentions. We often talk about New Year's resolutions, but this week my focus has been intention setting. And I've done some intention setting work with, hey, good morning, Michelle. Michelle is over on the website, mikecameron.ca/live. Michelle is coming home today. I'm excited about that. I might be excited about that. She asked me what the show was on today. I said it was all about me missing her. I won't bore you with that because probably for you guys, that's not super exciting. Yes, Anne says, yeah, welcome to Toronto. Welcome to Toronto. Well, it's more than Toronto. It is all of Ontario. So today I want to talk a little bit about intention setting and what that means for me rather than resolution setting. One of the things I have shifted to over the years is setting intentions rather than resolutions. And I talk about this in my book. I talk about rather than setting goals, I've adopted a slightly different framework. Good morning, Neil. How are you, my friend? Oh, I see everybody's jumping over to the website. Anne is now over chatting with Michelle on the website, mikecameron.ca/live. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. So I talk about rather than setting goals, I've switched to a different framework. I set values, I set intentions, and I set milestones. And values, I think we all know what values are. I've done a couple of talks on values. Intentions is what we're going to talk about today. And milestones are much more akin to traditional goals. They're points along the way. But why I want to talk about intentions today is because it's incredibly important to look at intentions before we look at milestones or goals. And I'll explain what I mean. Hey, there you go. Neil is over now on the website as well. I love it. I don't know if that's great for the Facebook algorithm or not. I probably get less engagement on Facebook when I send you guys over to the website, but that's all right. That is all right. It is all about building community. And quite frankly, there's just way too much crap and negativity on a lot of these social platforms. So That is the reason that I set up MikeCameron.ca to be a different kind of community. And I hope you'll join me over there. We had some intentions around that for the year. We're going to fall a little bit short of the milestones we had hoped to hit, but the intention does not change. And that's actually a really good point. So let's talk about what the hell are you talking about, Mike? What do you mean when you talk about an intention? So the dictionary definition of an intention is a thing intended, an aim, or a plan. It's a noun, a thing intended, an aim, or a plan. So while our values are those things that hold up to a lifetime of challenge and reflection and ultimately shape who we are, an intention is the foundation of any action plan. So again, we often think of those goals, those milestones, those objectives as the foundation of that action plan. But for me, when I bring this back to intentions, our intentions are much more about who we want to be and how we want to show up in this world. And that becomes important as a North Star, as a driving force, rather than that objective or that goal or that milestone. You know, again, I've talked about this before. If our objective is to make $100,000, and we use that as the driver for our action plan, you know, we may actually get further and further away from who we want to be and how we intend to show up in this world. When we make that goal, when we make that objective the primary driver, that can be problematic. So I had a conversation with a client this week, and we were talking about exactly that. They talked about some of the things that were important to them, yet they felt they didn't have any time to do those important things. And they were talking about how focused they were on the work component. They were going to work harder so they could make more money, so they could create more time, so then they could do the things they wanted. They could focus on their intention. And as you can imagine, that becomes problematic. So let's go through that again and see if we can spot the troubles with that. So I've got some things I want to do. I want to give back to the community. But I feel like I don't have time to give back to the community. In order to get time, I need to get more money so that I can free up some time. So in order to get some more money, I focus on work. I focus on work. I focus on work. I focus on work. I work harder. I work harder. I work harder. I start saving money. I start saving more money in the hopes that at some point, I don't know what that magic tipping point is, but at some point, if I save enough money, I'll be able to take the time to do the things that light me up, that fulfill me, that I can give back to the community then. And in the same breath, we had also talked with this particular individual about their need to take a little break, to take some rest, because they work incredibly hard. And so they decided to take a day off and get some rest. And I just thought it was funny that this individual had now shifted that objective, that goal, that work hard to make more money so I can take care of me. He'd, over the last little while, started to flip that around to the taking care of me part coming first. And as a result, he was okay making the decision to take the day off, even though it somewhat conflicted with his objective of making more money so he could create more time so he could then give back to the community. And so I pointed it out to him. I said, look, clearly you've got the ability to do this. You're self-employed. You've done it for yourself, which is bravo. That's a great thing. But what if you switched that up so that that intention of giving back to the community, he had some specific ways he wants to give back to the community. What if you made that your intention, the priority, rather than the objective of making more money? Because that's ultimately not the real objective. He felt like by making more money, he could create more time so he could live his intention. And it becomes this circle that we chase, we end up chasing our tail. And as a result, years go by and we still haven't lived our intention. Our intention is that thing that connects us with our calling, our purpose. It opens the door to the universe to put objectives, goals, milestones in our path that we can then pursue. So I'd said to him, what would happen if you just, this day you need for self-care, you need for rest. But what about next time you decide to take that day? Michelle says, you often hear in the context of arguments between partners that I didn't intend for X, Y, and Z to be taken that way. Do you think that has to do with the acting first or the articulation of the intention after? I wonder if couples would avoid arguments, miscommunications by setting intentions first, up front, and with purpose. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a great point. In relationships, no question. Here's my intention. And Michelle, you and I do this very well. Here's my intention for you. If I'm not delivering on that, let's have that conversation. Sometimes Neil says, great point. We sometimes have preconceived context, which muddies our responses. Yeah. And again, so if we come at it with intention first and action second, if the intentions drive, they become the fundamental driver for that plan of action, then we can really measure those things against our intentions. So again, I start with values, then move to intentions, and then the milestones or objectives or goals come after that, not the other way around. I often talk about this in the context of hiking, climbing. When we go hiking or climbing, the objective is to reach the summit, right? Obviously, when we climb, we want to get to the top. But my intention is to enjoy the beauty of nature. My intention might be to get some respite from a busy, stressful week, year, day, month, whatever it is. So when I focus on my intention to enjoy my surroundings, to enjoy nature, to enjoy the outdoors, whether or not I reach the summit is not relevant. You guys may have heard me talk about, we went on a hiking trip to Pinto Lake this summer, and we got incredibly lost. Our intention was to go out. This was a male friend of mine. Our intention was to spend some time together, to really connect with each other, to reconnect with nature, enjoy each other's company, and enjoy nature. That was our intention. What should have been a relatively easy hike ended up getting us lost and losing. We ended up having to camp on the summit halfway to our destination. We didn't get to the destination that first night. But I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was one of the most incredible experiences we ever had. We camped on the top of this mountain. It was a full moon. We watched the moon rise up from behind the mountain and light up the sky like it was daylight. It was freaking incredible. Behind us, there was a glacier. The glow of the moon off the glacier was incredible. If all we'd focused on was our objective to get to Pinto Lake, it could have been a miserable experience. But instead, with our intention simply being to bond with each other, to connect with each other, enjoy nature, when that was our primary driver of our actions, the objective of getting to Pinto Lake didn't matter. Now, we had a great sleep that night, got up the next morning, and we finally found our way down to Pinto Lake. But you can see in that context, if all we cared about was getting to Pinto Lake, it could have been miserable. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was a little nervous when we were lost, that we might be lost for days, and that would be problematic because we didn't have a lot of water, and we didn't have a lot of food. So there's a little bit of fear there. But when you make it about the intention, rather than the goal, the objective, the milestone, it's incredible what happens. It's incredible what happens. Again, thinking about that trip to Pinto Lake, it was just an absolutely amazing experience. So much so that Michelle's heard me talk about it enough that we're going back there, right, babe? Michelle wants to share in that experience, and I'm super excited to do that. Anne says, in life also, set intentions. Yes. So this New Year's Eve, let's not set resolutions. Let's set intentions. Let's set intentions for our year, for the year we want to have, for who we want to be and how we want to show up. Let those be your guidelines. Let that intention be the foundation of your action plan, not your goals, not your objectives. Let those be secondary. Let your intention of who you want to be and how you want to show up be the foundation. I want to be kind. I want to be bold. I help people become the best version of themselves. I'm looking at a couple of the intentions that I wrote. Actually wrote in my book. If you're looking for last minute Christmas gifts, I got ideas. Jamie Hill, how are you, my friend? Christy, how are you, Christy? What is going on? So what are some of your intentions for the year upcoming? So some of the questions that I ask myself when I'm looking at intentions is, what is it that my heart truly desires? How do I serve my highest purpose? How do I best serve my highest purpose? I'll use phrases like, I want, fill in the blank. I intend, fill in the blank. I am, fill in the blank. I allow, fill in the blank. I open to the possibility of, fill in the blank. And when you start brainstorming on those, or maybe more importantly, heartstorming, just let it flow. That's how we come up with our intentions. So a couple of the intentions that I documented in my book that still hold true is, I help people become the best version of themselves. I intend to leave this world a better place for me being in it. I am love. I allow abundance to come into my life. These are some of my intentions. Anne says, resolutions are meant to be broken, intentions are not. Neil says, I love your analogy. Yeah, so drop me a note in the comments. Let me know, what are some of your intentions for 2021? A noun, a thing intended, an aim or a plan. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? What if we did that every morning? We set our intention for the day, rather than our goal for the day, rather than our objective for the day. I think you'll find that the universe will have ways of putting milestones, objectives, goals in front of you that are in alignment with your intention, in alignment with your values, in alignment with your intentions. I just absolutely, the more I look at this framework, the more I use this framework, the more I love it. Set values, set intentions, and then set milestones. Because the reality is, if you're true to your values, if you hold fast to your intentions, then whether or not you make your milestones, whether or not you achieve your goals, is really irrelevant. Garth, that's a good one. Garth says, my intention to show up at home the same way I show up in my job. Yeah, it's so easy for us to get wrapped up with this identity of our work being who we are. But how do we show up at home with that same level of fervor and zest? Anne says, I intend to getting out to Calgary and then on to Vancouver Island. Soaring all the while. SOAR. Slow down, open up, accept, and reconnect. I love it. I love it. All right, my friend. As always, my intention today is to make some beautiful shit happen.